Joe Rogan tries to distract from the Epstein files cover-up and fails miserably. This is taken from his episode with Anna Paulina Luna, where she talks about UFOs and aliens.
I can also tell you, and this might sound crazy, but based on our investigations and stuff that we've seen, okay, there is definitely something that I think would rival what we know currently with physics, and a tech that potentially is out there that we don't have the ability to reproduce, because it would basically be like dropping a cell phone right off back during the time of maybe caveman. So like we just don't have the tech to develop it yet.
When you say that it operates outside our understanding of physics, what specifically are you saying? Like what happened?
To I guess break it down in simple terms is that I think that some of the tech that exists that
said it in the past, say it again. Aliens, UFO, Area 51, all that CIA astroturfing slop is fake and gay until proven true and straight. I think it is bread and circus to entertain the slugs and to distract.
Whatever these things have, these energy things have.
Energy things? What do you mean?
Well, they call them interdimensional beings. I think that they can actually operate through the time spaces that we currently have.
All right, so now to try to get people to move on from the Epstein files, the government is trying to distract us with conversations about aliens. You know, now all of a sudden people...
I don't know if I believe that the CIA was like, send in the hot rep. Maybe. Get them talking about aliens again. You think that actually happened? Or was it just like she was a guest planned on his podcast?
are all focused on interdimensional beings and UFOs, which a lot of people predicted was going to happen after the Epstein files fall out. And last week it was reported that some top officials had a meeting to discuss what to do about it. And apparently Rogan's podcast was brought up. And then just the other day, exactly a week later...
Believing in aliens is the same as believing in Anunnaki? Yeah, this is some Yakubian tricknology. Look, I get it if you want to entertain the idea of extraterrestrial life. It's not a foreign concept to me that to think that there's other life out there, but to have contact with us and they're here now, interacting with us in super elusive ways. What are they, just a bunch of court jesters playing pranks on us? Please, you're telling me in how many years have we been doing this? And we have yet to get a single verifiable, actual, concrete example of being like, that's a fucking alien. It's just a bunch of paramilitary pseudo operators going like, Bravo 6, this is Tango Dark Whiskey Sour. I see an unidentified, what appears to be object, globe, moving at speeds I've never seen before. It's kind of frying my brain, to be honest. Shh, what? And then we get a potato camera footage of just like a shadow moving.
We have some hot chick on there talking about aliens. So they're getting creative here. They definitely know Rogan's...
Explain the pyramids? It's called locking in. And slaves.
Audience well. I mean, hot chicks and aliens, you can't beat that. So Rogan had on this Congresswoman, Anna Paulina Luna, to talk about interdimensional beings and UFOs, which obviously wasn't compelling at all. She just sounded confused most of the time, but people weren't complaining. And luckily, Rogan's bullshit detector wasn't working very well either, even though there were a few times where it seemed like he was thinking, come on, what are we doing here? But she's hot, that goes a long way. Like, most of the comments were just about that. People are like, as long as my psyops are sexy, I'm good. And hot women tell me UFOs are real. This is my dream. So I guess this podcast wasn't a terrible idea. I mean, it sounds like there's a big market for this. I mean, she wasn't convincing at all, and still people loved it. She's basically just like, I'm in the government. I've seen proof of UFOs and interdimensional beings, but I can't go into any detail or explain it at all.
She can't go into any detail. The people that she asks can't go into any fucking detail. Well, I'm just sitting here twiddling my fucking thumbs. Oh, let's take these people at face value. I'm sorry, I cannot disclose that in a public forum. That goes against code 96424AB.
And people are saying this podcast broke the...
Why is everyone gooners, bro? You really want me to answer that question? I could go on a 50-minute rant about why everyone is a gooner. The reality is because everyone was raped by pornography, whether they liked it or not. Think about it. Being 12 years old, exposed to this slime, this sludge, this slop, the over-sexualization of women and men.
Internet. It's hilarious. Of course, she also claims they're going to release some information and be completely transparent about it. but that sounds kind of familiar. I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, she's also in charge of this task force that's supposed to push for declassification of federal secrets. And a big thing they're working on is trying to get the Epstein files released, which of course we know how that's going. So I don't have much faith in her. And of course, conveniently, Joe
The what files? The who?
forgot to bring up the Epstein files during this podcast. He didn't mention it once. It's crazy. And she did mention it once, but just to say that she's not using aliens to distract from it. And then she also said that Kash Patel has been extremely transparent. They always use that word. So this podcast was just comical. Joe had on a congresswoman who's in charge of a task force that's trying to release the Epstein files.
She was trying to push the angels thing too. Yeah, dude. Reading the Bible for anything other than didactic fiction is just asking to lose. Work of genius, yes. Getting one shot by it, no.
And didn't ask her about that once. And I'm sure Joe was told not to bring it up because if he did, this would have been a complete disaster. I mean, she was already barely keeping it together with the alien stuff. Joe was probably thinking, man, this girl's lucky she's hot. I don't think he's buying any of this.
When you say interdimensional beings, that they know that these are interdimensional beings, how do they know that?
Based on testimony, would be based on witnesses that have come forward. But what I can tell you is,
so the witnesses just were told that they were interdimensional?
that they've seen things. And what I can tell you without getting into classified conversations is that there have been incidences that I believe where very credible people have reported that there have been movement outside of time and space.
Who are these credible people? Where are the facts? Why is nobody speaking about this? Why am I being edged perpetually? Like I said, fake and gay until proven true and straight. We need to increase our standards here if we're going to be talking about scientific objectives. What's that word I'm looking for? Where you need to see things with your senses in order for it to make sense. I'm getting one shot by the slop. If I don't get to this word, I might crash out. No, not reasoning. No, not instinct. Not consensus. Similar to firsthand. I'm going to need a thesaurus here. I am not moving on until this word pops into my head. We're searching for a word here. Somebody pull up the glossary. It's needing to synthesize the information via the senses to confirm it as true. Often people talk about the existence of God in this context. Chat, don't make me AI this. Empirical. Thank you. Where's the empirical data? There is none.
That's very vague.
Yeah. So, look.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Look. Have I seen a portal open? No. Have I seen a spaceship? Personally, no. Have I seen evidence of this? Yes. Have I seen photo documentation of aircraft that I believe were not made by mankind? Yes.
What are we talking? Covenant? The flood? What do you mean? You can't just say that.
Is there historical significance to this? Yes. Is there multiple events that go back to, I would argue, maybe even before the time of Christ that have documented this in text? Yes. So do I believe that the government has access to certain technology? Yes, to an extent. And I believe that certain contractors potentially have...
She literally brings up the Watchers. What are we talking about here? The Forerunners?
Engineered this tech. But look, I think a lot of people say, well, this is a distraction from everything else happening in the country right now. And all I'm simply trying to say is it's not a distraction. The people that are kind of helping to divulge all this information, you have an intelligence community, Tulsi Gabbard, Radcliffe.
I'll tell you what, the trippiest thing I've ever seen, coming from somebody who has stared up at the sky and made a documentary about this very subject, or at least something adjacent, happened last night, okay? I saw a meteor shower with my own eyes. I saw objects that look like stars moving at insane speed, falling across the sky, and then disappearing. But I did a couple things to fact check myself, okay? First of all, I had the insight to recognize that there are planes in the sky. But one thing about planes, their lights blink. It's a safety thing. So these were not planes. Also, I pulled up ADS-B, which allows you to track aircraft directly above you and across the world. Every single flight Not every single one, but 99% of flights are going to be on ADS-B. Looked at my compass, was like, huh, that plane's over there, that one's over there. There's still something moving in the sky, and it's tripping me the fuck out. There was no light pollution. I was on the ocean. So then I looked up. Falling stars? No. And then it came to me. Asteroids, meteors. Turns out my exact location is a perfect spot to observe meteor showers at this time of year at this exact coordinates. Wow, that's cool. I just saw a meteor shower. I don't know if everyone else has that IQ. Maybe they just get one-shotted by it. I thought I was having a mystical experience, and it turns out natural phenomenon that just looks dope.
Kash Patel, they have been truly, in regards to our other investigations, extremely...
The craziest thing I've seen was a twink putting on 50 pounds of muscle in 3 months. And claiming natty.
Transparent and wanting to get this information out. But it doesn't mean that within these intelligence communities there isn't pushback. And so part of the reason why the task force was formed pertaining to things like UAP, pertaining to things like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, pertaining to things like the JFK, MLK, and RFK investigations is...
So you guys are talking about the fact that she brings up the Watchers, part of the Book of Enoch, which is apocryphal, which, you know, there's the Book of Judas, where he confirms Jesus and him were gay lovers. This is not... Listen, I keep it tradcath, okay? There is a literal system of scholars and canonical lawyers and bishops with power structures to interpret these texts to then convey it to the masses, and they reveal that this is probably best used through didactic fiction, okay? I'm not getting one-shotted by schizophrenic ramblings and then being like, oh, that, okay?
Because even though we don't hold declassification authority, what we're trying to do is push these agencies and be, if you will, the pit bull and the attack dog on trying to get this information released. And to...
That's exactly what I saw. The Perseid meteor shower off the coast of Long Island at the very tip, staring into the abyss of the Atlantic Ocean.
A lot of these agencies' credits, they've been extremely transparent, and we have...
Yeah, so as long as she says she's being transparent, I trust her. I mean, she had like the same script as Kash Patel on here. She just kept saying, trust me, you know, take my word for it. We're being transparent. Even though she also claims Donald Trump not releasing the Epstein files was a 4D chess move. And like with Kash Patel, she also wrote a children's book about Trump. I mean, these people are so funny. And then she wore a MAGA...
The Legend of Naranja. Get it, guys? The Legend of Orange. I gotta write a book, dude. I gotta sell something to the slugs. I don't even care if my own chat doesn't buy it. I don't expect them to. They're too high IQ. I can't psyop my own chat. I'm too authentic and real and uncut and uncircumcised. The only thing I could sell them is the best mattress money can buy. Which is why today's video is sponsored by Helix. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding customized to fit your needs, conveniently shipped in a box right to your doorstep. You don't even have to leave your house. But Philion, how do I know which mattress is right for me? See, Helix thought of this. That's why they designed a sleep quiz that helps match your unique body type to your sleeping preferences. This way, you can find the perfect mattress for you. Personally, I like to sleep on my side and stomach, and I prefer a medium mattress feel, which is why I was matched with the Midnight Lux. And ever since I moved, I had to upgrade from a queen to a king, because the name fits. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses to choose from, and they also recently launched a variety of mattress toppers as well. And that's because Helix offers a sleep solution for just about everyone. People ask me all the time, they say, how do you look so handsome and stay so mentally sharp and full of energy all the time? And I say, it's simple. It's the mattress I sleep on, which is Helix. If it makes you nervous to buy something you guys haven't tried yet in person, Helix offers a 100-night sleep trial. This way you get a little bit over 3 months to make sure that you love it. If sleeping on a cloud or even purchasing a mattress topper is not up your alley, have no fear, because Helix just launched a kids mattress. Now, I don't have any kids, but if I did, you already know I would be buying them the Helix Kids mattress, which is brand new in their lineup. This is a perfect way to treat your children right to celebrate that back-to-school season, because my little Philion would be an academic weapon with all the brain power he's receiving from proper rest. I love my Helix, and I think you would too. If you're in the need for a new bed, check out Helix. Go to helixsleep.com/Philion or click on the link down below to receive 27% off site-wide during their Labor Day sale. And of course, Thank you to Helix for sponsoring this video.
Swimsuit at one point and went viral for that. That's like her claim
Holy
to fame.
buckets, Batman!
She used to be a swimsuit model and also was a cocktail waitress at
Just kidding, never goon. It's just a girl. It's just a woman, dude. I don't. It's not impressive. I've seen it all.
strip club. So she's basically a glorified e-girl now and a UFO expert.
Many such cases.
Who's going to release evidence of interdimensional beings.
Shit means nothing to me, dude. I couldn't care less, actually.
I mean, it's so ridiculous, but honestly, this could actually be a really lucrative grift for her. And it's funny, I think Rogan's good friend Eric Weinstein was really jealous that Rogan would rather talk to her about aliens than him, because he put out a tweet that called this podcast mental sludge and said it was super embarrassing. And he said, I can rip a bunch of equally vapid vibe terms like digital seraphim, vibration travelers, plasmic will, and disembodied guardians. So he is better at coming up with terms, but I can't blame Joe here. I mean, obviously he'd rather talk to a swimsuit model over Eric Weinstein or some other strange UFO guy. So also Ian Carroll, who Rogan had on earlier this year, ratioed Anna's post where she's promoting this podcast and said, so I'm to understand you talked for hours and didn't discuss the Epstein files in your little task force dedicated to publishing them. You know, because that is crazy. Like, she's always tweeting about Epstein and she's in that task force. But then she's on the biggest podcast in the world and doesn't even talk about it. And Rogan doesn't talk about it either.
I need to be part of a task force, except I am the only, like, nobody else would be on the team. It would just be me. It's like a solo rogue mission.
I mean, it's so funny. Rogan used to bring up Epstein like every other podcast. But now since that whole fiasco happened, he barely talks about it. Like, the only time he really went into it for more than 30 seconds was with that guy from the CIA, which was still kind of
Who appeared on his show 22 times, by the way.
Shit, you know, they didn't really have much to say about it. And I saw Rogan just had on Sam Tripoli, who's a big conspiracy theory guy. You know, he loves talking about Epstein. So I thought for sure
Holy soy face, Batman.
you go into it quite a bit.
I gotta get rid of these glasses, bro. I gotta get rid of these glasses. Where are my soy blockers? Everyone's copying my swag.
But they only discussed it for like a minute or two. And of course, they only talked about Pam Bondi being incompetent. You know, they didn't really talk about the cover up or anything. So it just seems really strange. And now with this podcast, he just made it so obvious that he's trying to help distract from the Epstein files.
Eric versus bikini model. Joe folded like a fucking lawn chair.
Like another former Rogan guest, Tom Bilyeu, he criticized this podcast too. He said,
Dude, all this conspiracy slop is just mental masturbation.
am I crazy to assume that this is internally facing propaganda rather than actual interdimensional beings? So it's like hard to ignore at this point. I mean, this girl wasn't convincing at all. Like whenever
Internally facing propaganda. That's exactly what I think it is.
Rogan questioned her, she had no idea what to say. So she would just resort to saying, I can't talk about that. I can't go into detail. I mean,
Like, imagine how black hat that is. A sector of our intelligence slash government slash state that internally provides propaganda and astroturfing campaigns to its own people. Like, we're supposed to be on the same side, but no.
it's like she wasn't even trying to make a compelling argument. I mean, I believe there's probably aliens out there or something like that, but after hearing this, it made me believe in it less. And if this is the person in charge of exposing what the government knows about it, based on this podcast, I don't think we'll see anything very significant, and I'm sure Rogan knows that, and I'm sure she knows that too. I mean, they're both basically just acting at this point.
Yeah, so what I want to bring it back to evidence. You said that you've seen evidence. Like, what kind of evidence have you seen?
I have seen photos.
Boomers just getting one-shotted by her.
I have seen.
What have you seen photos of?
So I was in a skiff, and I can't discuss all that was in a skiff, but what I can tell you is based on the photos that I've seen, I'm very confident that there's things out there that have not been created by man.
It seems crazy that people have access to information that shows that there's something outside of us that is more intelligent.
They don't. This is one long experiment. Holy shit, they still believe this. Yo, who knew? All we needed was just a fucking beautiful mid in a bikini to talk about aliens, and they're fucking buying it.
At least more capable than we are, and they hide it from everybody else.
What I can tell you is that when you have
She's saying skiff a lot.
thousands upon thousands of people around the planet throughout time that have reported something.
Right.
To say that those people are crazy, to say that, the whole concept of even just asking the question that you might not necessarily be psychologically sound, that in itself, that's a disinformation.
Why would they hide the evidence? It doesn't make sense. They don't have evidence. There is none. This is defense funding. This is a joke. This is an experiment.
Campaign to
Yes.
get people to shut up about it. And that's
This is what we call, say it with me, class, grift.
problem. We know that the U.S. government has not exactly been clean, and a lot of what they've done with the American people, specifically to the topic of UFOs.
Which makes you think that it's probably because there's something there.
Representative Gates has gone on record. He actually did as soon as he left office that we've seen stuff that I don't believe was created by mankind.
So you can't tell us what you saw, but
I'm gonna let you infer.
infer. See, this is the problem that I have with all this stuff.
Joe's not buying it. You come to Joe Rogan, don't give evidence.
I should be able to tell you without losing my clearance.
Well, not just that. That people that have that information should give that information to the general public.
Correct.
And stop treating us like you're smarter than us and that you can handle it and we can't. That's silly.
So they can come on a podcast and talk about the idea that they saw something, that there's something there, but they can't tell you what it is. That seems like you're already violating clearance, which tells me that the clearance is a joke. It's to keep her in line because it's probably inward-facing propaganda. Or she's in on it. I'm wearing the Third Eye Global PsyOp Division t-shirt with the big graphic on the back. I mean, we speak about this on a daily basis here at Third Eye Global at kick.com/Philion, okay? You cannot be falling for these PsyOps.
Which is why we have to declassify.
Yeah, so I don't have much faith in her, but if the Epstein stuff really heats up again, they might have to release something to distract from that. I mean, it probably won't be much. It'll probably just be some breadcrumbs to keep the peasants happy for a week or two. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we'll get some actual transparency, but I doubt it. Let me know what you guys think, though. And if you want to hear about how Rogan's podcast is being used by Epstein associates to try to clear their name, or how Rogan freaked out at his comedy club a couple months ago because he thought a woke reporter was trying to infiltrate it, or how Tim Dillon exposed his handler, make sure you check out the Patreon. There'll be a link in the description.
I just think it's all one big game, and we are the pieces.